Hey everybody, welcome, welcome to Hidden Horror. Thank you for spending this time with me. I appreciate that. Let's get started. Hey everybody. Hey everybody. Good evening. How are you doing tonight? Welcome to Hidden Horror special late evening Sunday edition. So let me catch you guys up with some stuff that's been going on with me. As you already know, I'm super busy in my regular life. This time of the year, I always try to explain to you some seasonal stuff that's happening with me. It's the end of the school year, nearing the end. So where I volunteer, we have a scholarship we do every year, and then I also have a family-related scholarship. So I'm busy behind the scenes, working very hard on that. We bring forth different speakers for educational purposes. So I'm always working behind the scene on that. We just did our acknowledgments for Black History Month. We always do an essay, so we just highlighted our essay winner. All of that takes people behind the scenes, making sure that everything is done properly. So I'm busy. I'm always busy, right? So I have other things that I'm busy doing, big things coming up. I'm extremely busy in May. June is winding down. I have a nephew that's graduating from high school, so that's very challenging trying to pull things together. You have prom, you have graduation, you have a graduation party, you have all these things that keep you very, very busy. So I'm a busy lady, as you already know, but I'm extra busy during the nearing end of the school year, trying to make sure that everything is wrapped up, ready to go. We do the scholarship announcement, all of that. Plus, my other pages, we just had Easter, so I was busy, of course, on my cooking page on Facebook, demonstrating, as always, meal prep, how to prepare, cost savings, things like that. I'm a practical, everyday girl, so I bring that type of content, right? And I've been working on sharing scholarships for my scholarship page. Of course, a lot of kids are graduating in June, preparing to go off to college in the fall. So I'm always out there promoting the scholarships that I'm involved with, but also sharing other scholarships. So I'm super busy, but I'm squeezing this in. I'm just finished. So I'm a mom, right? Cook Sunday dinner every Sunday. So I've wrapped up dinner. I'm able to sit down now and bring you this next video that I explained to you that I was going to come forward with. The Oakland County Sheriff that was involved in the investigation for Ethan Crumbley, the Oxford High School mass shooter in Michigan, and his parents, James and Jennifer Crumbley. He, after all of the litigation was done, prosecuting Ethan, James, and Jennifer Crumbley, he wrote a letter, released that letter to detail some things that he learned that he wanted to share with the community as a whole. This also impacts some of those students that were in the Oxford High School mass shooting. They had gone on to go to college within the state of Michigan at Michigan State University, and then they were involved in another mass shooting as a mass shooting victim. So we just have so much to deal with. And I just want to share this information so people can have a general understanding of how important mental health is, mental wellness is. It doesn't matter if you're young or if you're older, you can still have issues with your mental health. And in this case, with Ethan Crumbley, he was only 15 years old when he did the mass shooting. Now, when I bring up Anthony McRae, he was a 43-year-old man that did the mass shooting at Michigan State University. So I'm bringing all of that together to let you see the impact the impact on the community, the victims' families, it trickles down. All in this state of Michigan, where people are wanting answers. They want to know, how did this happen? Why did this happen? And again, as I have said so many times, it is a mental health crisis. It really, really is. I have no interest personally in investigating mental health, mental wellness, but I can clearly see that a lot of these mass shootings, these mass stabbings, they're due to mental instability. It really is. I'm actually gaining more knowledge as I look into things because I'm learning the thoughts, the mindset of these people, of these actors. Why did they do this? How could they do this? Why would they want to hurt other people when they're themselves are hurting, are alone, are depressed? They feel forgotten. They feel overlooked. They feel that they're not valued, that they're not considered, that they're not noticed in society. And they do these extreme acts of violence, of terrorism. Um, and really, it's a cry out. It's a cry out. So how can we see these signs earlier on? They say that these people have mental problems, but they have no issues with planning these mass shootings, preparing for them, doing research, collecting weapons. They may have some mental illness, but they know what they are doing. These are planned events, okay? So I just want to touch on that and kind of bring more of this idea of the mass shooter. What's behind these mass shootings? How everybody is interconnected. Okay, and my goal is to just bring awareness. I don't know if people know this, but so many people, adults and the youth, have mental health issues, whether that be depression, anxiety, PTSD, all kind of mental health issues, right? Bipolar, schizophrenia, etc. But we also have issues in the United States, more so where a lot of young people, if you have a percentage of young people, you're going to see a large that are depressed. And you're going to see some that try to take their own lives. Many are just depressed. They have all kind of fears, all kind of anxieties, and it's due to all the pressures, right? If they have an issue at school, it doesn't end at school. It goes and follows them. It follows them on social media, not just their neighborhood where they live and the school where they are. They can be harassed, stalked on social media also. So we have to keep all these things in our mind. And that's why I said it's important to connect with your child, do those check-ins continually, talking to them, seeing how they feel, what they're thinking. If they're having any challenges, how is their day going? How are their grades? Connect with the teachers. Talk to their friends, learn who their friends are. What are they talking about? Is it positive? Is it negative? Where's the friends' thoughts? How are their friends' grades, etc.? Okay, so let's get started because I actually have a ton of videos tonight out of just honesty. I have about 7 videos, but they're short. They're between 2 and 3 minutes each. But I'm trying to demonstrate what I've been saying throughout these videos on Ethan, James, and Jennifer Crumley, but also what is the impact on the community. And today I'm bringing you this information. So please just follow me on this journey to learn more about the mindset of these actors, right? And we're going to start right with in Oxford, the Oakland County Sheriff, in the letter that he shared in that community. What did he feel? What did he think? What was his observations? Because you can only have a look back when something happens, But we also want to be proactive. And I think part of what he did was proactive training for those administrators in the school. And I think that also saved a lot of lives. And I know some people feel the expectation should be, a quicker response, quicker EMS, quicker support on the ground. But you have to make sure first that you secure all actors, remove them. Then EMS can safely come in, not just in a mass shooting, at any crime scene. You have to secure that scene first, whether you're going into a house, a building, a store, a restaurant. You have to make sure that dwelling, that building is safe first, and that takes a little bit of time. So I know that's a lot of the issue with the police response. How long did it take? Um, they're coming on a scene that they have no knowledge of. They're not prepared for, in the sense of they know how many actors are involved. They know where they're hiding. They don't know. They have to go. And the one thing I can agree and acknowledge is that they acted fast. They didn't wait outside like they did in Uvalde, Texas. They didn't wait 10 minutes. They didn't wait an hour. They went in, and that saved lives, because in the case of Ethan Crumbley, he actually had, I believe, about 18 more bullets that he was not able to use. And I believe in the mass shooting at Michigan State University, Mr. Anthony McCrae, he had two guns. And I think he had a large quantity of bullets, ammunition also. So he was walking around, he was stalking, he was trying to figure out where people were hiding. And honestly, in that incident, I can only imagine if he had did the shooting in the daytime between the hours of 8 and maybe 2 o'clock, how many more students would have been on site in classrooms during those hours, during those daytime hours? Thousands. Michigan State University is a very large, beautiful campus, probably still over 40,000 students. Can you imagine how many people could have been harmed if he had did it earlier in the day? It would have been a tremendous number. Not just three unalive, but probably a lot more. Okay. So we have to be aware of all of these circumstances when we're thinking about these cases, these incidents. We're thinking about the victims, people that they're not knowing today may be the last day that they live, because they're going about their ordinary day, doing the normal tasks, getting up, going to class, maybe living on campus. That's really a scary thought when you're not safe at home or at school, right? Okay, so I'm going to try to give you all of the information about these sources, because there's different ones for the videos, as well as I think there's going to be two articles. One article about the sheriff and his letter, and then there's going to be another article about Anthony McCrae, and he was found to have a 2-page note, kind of detailing how he thought. And if you want to say these are the reasons why he did the mass shooting, you can say that. These are like a list of his grievances. We're going to go over that as well. And that's also, everything is posted always on the Hidden Horror Facebook page. Every link, every video, every attachment, all of that information, that is the source, the main place where you can go. If you're missing something in the video, or if you want to look back or read it yourself or watch it yourself or just review it, always you can go to Hidden Horror Facebook page, okay? So the first article is by midmichigannow.com. It was written March 22nd, 2024. So this is after all 3 trials of Ethan, James, and Jennifer Crumbley, individual trials, all convicted. Okay. It's titled Oakland County Sheriff releases letter regarding Oxford school tragedy. So I'm going to read the article and then I'll share that video with you, okay? It didn't have a writer. It's just by Mid-Michigan Now, okay? Oxford County Sheriff Mike Bouchard released a letter on Friday regarding the Oxford school tragedy. Here's the letter. Now that we have completed the final criminal trial involving the terrible tragedy at Oxford High School, I wanted to reiterate what I have said to you all during this process. I am incredibly proud of you all. Everyone in this agency played a role, from our first responders, those answering the calls and being a voice of calm in a sea of panic, while simultaneously providing critical information updates to our responding deputies. So he's referring to those 911 dispatchers that were on the phone talking to witnesses, victims, relaying to police what was going on. Where is the shooter? Is the shooter still active? Where is the shooter in the building? Do you see? Do you have eyes on the shooter? Can you hear the shooter? Is he still shooting, etc.? Okay. Just improvising, okay? What I'm thinking he's referring to. Okay. Every one of our deputies that raced at breakneck speed to the high school and entered without delay. That's important, everybody. That lets you know we're engaging. We're not waiting. We're not waiting for backup. We're coming with full force and we're confronting this shooter. We're going to stop the shooting. That is not what happened in Uvalde, Texas. It's an extraordinary, sad situation. How all of those kids, they called 911. The teachers called 911. They let them know where the shooter was. They let them know that people were still alive. They let them know people were injured. And they did not confront the shooter out of fear. And this is real. But he's saying, Sheriff Bouchard, he's saying, we entered into that school. We were in breakneck speed. Never heard of that phrase. We did it without any delay. We require and train that we don't wait for additional resources. It is our job to go in with whoever is there, be they alone or as a team, and seek out and stop the threat. Stop the threat. Based on the totality of our investigation, I am convinced the shooter would have gone until he hurt us or was confronted by our team. When taken into custody, the shooter, referring to Ethan Crumbley, still had 18 live rounds of ammunition, 18 more shots, 18. Our fire department partners that helped triage and transport the injured victims. Next into the building was our professional crime lab and forensic personnel for a detailed gathering of evidence to support the now successful prosecutions. Our team members that fanned out after I assigned one to each family that had someone physically injured or killed. I wish we had the people to have one for everyone in the school. They had and will always have our support. Our substation team, joined by our special investigation unit, computer crimes unit, and all the deputies and detectives that poured themselves into making sure every piece of information and evidence was uncovered and preserved for trial. All our team that consumed their every moment with looking after the welfare of those affected inside and outside of our agency. Our amazing corrections team that has been professional from day one in keeping the accused suspects and now convicted defendants safe and cared for, even though many of those deputies had loved ones that were in that school on that terrible day. Our partnership with the prosecutor, local and federal agencies that worked hand in glove to ensure the victims and the community had accountability from those involved, the victim advocates that supported families throughout this process. This is the worst nightmare that we have prepared and trained for years ahead, going back to 2006. That's 15 years of preparation. I had hoped and prayed this type of event would never visit our community, but for us, that is not a strategy. Preparation is our strategy. Our high school tragedy was book-ended by the unforgivable police efforts at Parkland before us and Uvalde after us. Even as many on our team struggled tremendously with what they had seen and dealt with on that day, they continue to suit up and show up. We actually had to leave the wake of one of the victims from Oxford High School to go to another active shooter scene. And as we searched and cleared each room of that building, I saw many of the same faces there that were at Oxford as well. All the community and mental health professionals that have made the Herculean and clearly necessary efforts to help the people process the unthinkable have made a huge difference. The All for Oxford Resiliency Center and others, I thank you. To all I say, seeking and obtaining help is not a weakness. For those struggling, you are not alone, and it takes strength to ask for help. All of you and all of those that may not have been mentioned in this letter that have made a difference, you have my deepest appreciation, admiration, and unfailing support. May we, your friends, family, and God continue to hold your hand each day. Excellent letter, right? Let's hear from Sheriff Bouchard. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, I have it ready.
In less than 2 weeks, James and Jennifer Crumbly will be sentenced. As we've reported here on CBS News Detroit, they've been convicted for the murders carried out by their son during the Oxford school shooting in 2021.
Their sentencing represents the end of a deeply painful chapter for the Oxford community. Joining us tonight is Oakland County Sheriff Bouchard. Thank you so much for being here today.
Good evening.
So you recently sent out a letter really from the heart, talking about what this entire ordeal has been like over the last 2.5 years. What motivated you to send out that letter?
Well, it's affected so many people in our agency, outside of our agency, across the country, and especially in Oxford in such a devastating way. And I'll say a lot of things went terribly wrong that day, but many things went right. You know, the school who we had worked with and trained went into lockdown. The staff and the kids that were there did some amazing things that we think saved lives. The shooter never got into a classroom. So those were good things in a terrible situation. But the reason I wanted to send that out to our team was if you go back in time, we have been training. I actually started training our folks going back to Mumbai in 2006, active shooter protocols. And then right after Parkland, I sent out a letter and said what we saw there, in my opinion, was unforgivable for a police agency. We do not accept staging. We don't accept standing outside waiting for backup. We expect, if you get there alone, to go in. If I get there alone, I'm going in. If we get there together, we're going in, but we are going in. And if that's not something that's in your wheelhouse, you need to find another job. I sent that out after Parkland. So, you know, I wanted them to think about it then, not at the door of a future tragedy. Tragedy then came, and they did exactly what I had asked, what they had trained for. They went immediately in. They took the shooter in custody, who I think would have kept going until he ran out of bullets or was confronted either by sight or sound of us. And in fact, when we took him into custody, he had 18 live rounds left, 18 bullets, 18 more shots. And so I just wanted to kind of close that part of the chapter for our team that, like everybody else, is still struggling with that day. You know, our job is to rush past victims because we have to find the shooter first, not help people that are hurt. And so that takes a long-term permanent toll. And I just wanted to kind of express I was proud of them in a terrible situation. We hoped and prayed it would never happen. For us, preparation is a strategy, not hope and prayer. It goes with it. And they did what was asked. And I'm proud of them. And I wanted to kind of close that loop after the last criminal prosecution had finished.
The shooting itself and the trials, it's all been just so strenuous for those families and also for the community as a whole. How is everyone feeling now that there's at least some justice that's been done?
Well, it's a modicum of justice in terms of the folks involved were held accountable that were part of the actual shooting. I think there's still people that have, questions that they want asked and answered, and we're going to do all that we can to help them in that process. Now that the criminal trial's over, some of the evidence we couldn't talk about to anybody until it was revealed in the courtroom. We didn't want to prejudice the trial or the conviction or the sentencing. But so hopefully that's going to be an ongoing process. We encourage people to get help. Asking for help is strength. It's not a weakness. And, it's something that we're here for you. The All for Oxford Resiliency Center is there for you. There's people that want to help, including us. But we know it's tough. And there will be holes and voids that they'll never be able to fill because it's a child that's gone forever and all those future memories, or that scar and that fear factor if you are in or around the building or your kids are going. And, I sent a letter to all the Oxford kids that went to Michigan State because we raced to Michigan State when that was happening. So now you've got kids that have been in 2 active shooter schools. And so we're trying to make sure they know we're here for them forever, but it's going to be an ongoing process. It's not one of those things where time heals all wounds. Time lets you process a tragedy and move forward. It lets you take one step after another. It doesn't heal that void.
Yeah, it's left such a profound mark on so many in the community, but really a wonderful, beautiful way to sum that all up in the letter. Thank you so much for joining us today to talk about it.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so this particular video, it was by CBS News Detroit. This is the sheriff of Oakland County just expressing as he reflects on the mass shooting at Oxford High School and also connecting it to responding to the mass shooting that was at Michigan State University. So I'm going to close this particular window, and we're going to now discuss this mass shooting that happened at Michigan State University. So I'm going to briefly just catch you up if you're not aware. In February of 2023, there was a mass shooting on the campus at Michigan State University, which is located in East Lansing, Michigan. There were 3 victims that died, and the mass shooter, he had some alleged issues, mental health issues. So let me go to it's going to be 2 articles. So it's going to be a total of 3 articles and probably about 6 videos. Okay, so we got 1 video down, we've got 1 article down, and now we're going to the second article. This article is by the Lansing State Journal. It's dated May 24th, 2023. It's written by Matt Mincarini, and it's titled Gunman Search Campus Shooting Videos Before Michigan State Mass Shooting Report Show. So this is pretty much after the investigation. They're learning some of the habits, some of the things that the shooter did to prepare for the shooting. Again, we know in the Ethan Crumbley mass shooting at Oxford High School, he researched bullets, he researched guns, he went to the gun range. He was able to get his parents to purchase him a gun, the gun that he used in the mass shooting. So again, we're going to learn some of the preparation, some of the steps that was taken before the act of the mass shooting, because guess what? We have to learn the mindset of these shooters. We have to know, what are they thinking? What are they planning? What are some of the things that they're doing? Are there any indicators? Usually there's some leakage, right? There's somewhere, somebody they're talking to. Sometimes there's a note left behind. In this instance, there was a 2-page note. So we're going to talk about that as well. But let's start with this article first. The Lansing Man police said carried out the mass shooting on Michigan State University's campus in February, and that's February of 2023, watched online videos about campus shootings and other violent topics in the days before the incident, according to police reports. Now, we do realize we can compare and contrast this with Ethan Crumbley. Ethan Crumbley allegedly was watching mass shooting videos in class. There's a huge age difference. Ethan Crumbley was 15. Mr. Anthony McCray was 43 when he did the mass shooting at Michigan State University. But the behaviors, the mindset, the thinking, the planning is similar. He went online. Now, he watched videos about campus shootings. He's gaining knowledge. He's preparing. He's planning. He's using this information, knowing possibly what to do first, learning the layout of the buildings. Where will students be? It's very diabolical. Okay, let's keep going. On February 11th, Anthony McCray searched for or watched YouTube videos about school shootings and documentaries about killers and arson, according to Michigan State University Police and Public Safety Department reports that detail results of search warrants sent to Google. Those warrants also showed he viewed videos of MSU campus tours. Now, why would he be looking at the campus tours? Why? Because he wants to learn what is the layout. So before he ever goes onto the campus, he'll have an idea. Where is the student union? Where do kids hang out? Where would there be a large number of kids? Are there any restaurants? Is there a study room? Is there buildings where people can come in and out without having to maybe have an access card? There are buildings on campus where students live. You'd have to have a way to get in those buildings. And you're so much older. You're at an age where you don't appear to be a student. You'll be more likely a parent, right? So what are you doing on campus? But you can blend in these general common areas like the student union, for example. Anybody can go into those buildings, go and sit down, go and open up a book and study, read, go and get food. If they have a post office, etc. University police obtained warrants for internet searches from Mr. McCrae, 43, from December to February, which included searches for Dunham Sports, where police reports indicate he legally purchased ammunition. The name of the store had not been previously reported. A message was left seeking comment. The reports indicate MSU police obtained additional search warrants, but the returns were not included in the documents released following a public records request. MSU spokeswoman Emily Gurrent declined to comment for the story. University police have previously said the gunman did not have any personal or professional connection to the university and did not apply to the school for employment in recent history. The reports also revealed that police found Brian Frazier, one of 3 students killed in the shooting, on the floor of the first floor kitchen area of the MSU Union. The location had not been previously reported. So one of the victims, Brian Frazier, he was killed on the first floor kitchen area of the MSU Union. I think it's important that they show that he did not have a connection to the university as a student, as an employee, or somebody that even applied. This indicates that this is a selected site where they're looking to have a large number of people, readily available victims to target. For example, a mall, a carnival, somewhere that would have a large gathering. He picked the university for a reason, I believe. Okay. In April, MSU Chief of Police Chris Rosman said the investigation, including search warrants to Facebook and Google, could take months. Authorities believe he acted alone when he killed 3 students at Berkey Hall and the MSU Union on February 13th before killing himself when he was approached by police in North Lansing. Rosman said police will continue to investigate whether anyone helped him, even unknowingly. So they're believing that he acted alone. The shooter had 2 9mm handguns, 9 magazines. That's a lot. And extra rounds on him when found by police. Both were legally purchased but not registered. Michigan State Police Lieutenant Renee Gonzalez said in February, the gunman had 1 loaded magazine in a jacket pocket, 8 in his backpack, and a pouch with 50 loose rounds. The police reports released Wednesday evening also detailed police efforts to piece together the man's movements leading up the shooting, from witness interviews to store surveillance video. In April, police disclosed much of that timeline. MSU police said the shooter exited a bus at the Grand River Avenue Berkey Hall bus stop at 7:39 p.m. and left the Union and campus about 8:26 p.m. So that's about 47 minutes. The police reports show a Capital Area Transportation Authority bus driver identified the shooter as a passenger who was on the bus when relieved by another driver at the Dunham store on Michigan Avenue. That driver estimated the shooter exited the bus at the Radisson Hotel downtown about 8:53 p.m. Officers approached him at about 11:53 p.m. near Lake Lansing Road and High Street in Lansing, where he shot himself, police have said. Following the shooting, MSU has started making campus security upgrades, including installing about 1,600 door locks across campus and the first major upgrade to its video surveillance capabilities in more than a decade. A project recommended to the university in July of 2022. So I have multiple videos that I want to share. The first video is going to be a video that shows part of the shooting at the MSU campus. So if you're not able to handle any situations like that, I'm giving you a warning. This could be upsetting to you. If you need to click off the video now, please do so. I don't want to upset anyone. If you want to just click off and maybe read the articles, you can go to the Hidden Horror Facebook page. So I'm going to share the first video where it's really students' reactions to the mass shooting on campus at the university. And part of it is going to show you some streaming. Some of the students were videoing what was happening on campus. So it's going to have part of that also. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen now.
We are following the latest updates in Michigan as the Michigan State University community is mourning the lives of 3 people killed in a shooting on campus. Right now, we know 5 others are fighting to live at hospitals. Authorities say the suspect shot and killed himself. This video shows the sheer moments of terror as people were rushing out of their dorms. The shooting happened at Berkey Hall, and that is an academic building where 2 people were found dead. And then another person was later found dead at the student union just across the street. Police say the 43-year-old suspect had no affiliation with the university. Students we are hearing from say their sense of safety and security is gone.
We were there locked in the rooms, and the guys were telling us to run out the back doors as quick as we can and run for our lives. And I sprinted out there as fast as I can into the woods. And then from there, I thought the side of the campus would be safe. And then I got a text from my brother saying that they're over near that area, and then I entered Acres, and then when I came into Acres, people started running, telling me to run, that they came into Acres, so it's just a terrifying experience.
Imagine that. This is one of the top 5 largest college campuses in the world. Classes and other activities have been canceled at least for the next 2 days as that community grieves.
Okay, so that's one of the videos. I'm going to go to another one. This is another video discussing the shooting. Okay. This particular video is going to reveal the names of the 3 victims. Okay.
Tonight, we now know the names of the 3 students shot and killed in that tragic mass shooting at Michigan State. Right now, 5 other victims remain in the hospital in critical condition. The outpouring of love and support for the Spartan community continues tonight as flags across Michigan fly at half-staff in their remembrance. Tonight, we're also learning more about the gunman and the note authorities say he left behind. Tonight, these are the innocent lives taken during another tragic mass shooting in America this year. Ariel Anderson, Brian Frazier, and Alexandria Verner, all students at Michigan State University in East Lansing, Michigan. Ariel was a junior and an aspiring pediatrician.
We were just hoping that maybe she was hiding somewhere.
Brian Frazier, a sophomore and chapter president of Phi Beta Delta. His fraternity calls him a great friend to many. And Alexandria Verner, an upperclassman whose friends say was an example of kindness. Their lives were sadly taken last night when police say a gunman went from building to building on a violent rampage. Scared students hid in classrooms, fearing for their lives.
He came in our class and let off 3 to 4 rounds when it went silent for about 30 seconds to a minute. Two of my classmates started breaking open the window.
Police identified the gunman as 43-year-old Anthony Dwayne McCrae. After an hours-long manhunt, police say he died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound at a location off campus.
When he was confronted, he took his own life. We know that he was not affiliated with MSU, not faculty, not staff, not a student.
The FBI says McCrae suffered from mental health issues. Detectives found a 3-page note on him listing places in Michigan, Colorado, and New Jersey he also wanted to attack. Authorities also found a gun at the scene and a second in a backpack, along with multiple rounds of ammunition. Today, President Joe Biden again called for a ban on assault weapons.
It's happening far too often in this country. We have to do something to stop gun violence ripping apart our communities.
According to the Gun Violence Archive, this shooting marks the 67th mass shooting in our country just this year, and it comes on the 5th anniversary of the Parkland High School massacre in Florida, and less than a year and a half after the Oxford, Michigan high school shooting. Authorities say some students who survived that deadly school shooting were also among those running for their lives at MSU last night.
Another place that is supposed to be about community and togetherness, shattered by bullets and bloodshed.
Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer has lowered flags at half-staff in Michigan. President Biden has spoken with her and pledged to support local and state response efforts. Meanwhile, law enforcement are now combing through the shooter's social media accounts and writings for any extremist views. Tonight, we've learned McCrae served 18 months in prison between 2019 and 2021 on a weapons charge. Investigators are still trying to determine his motive. They say he had no connection to the victims or Michigan State.
Okay, so as it relates to the victims, I want to play one more video to connect Sheriff Bouchard and what he said. You had Oxford High School victims that had graduated and went on to college at Michigan State University, and now they're having a second experience of a mass shooting. So I'm going to play this video now. It's about 2.5 minutes.
This next portion of the story is just still so hard to imagine, but we've now reached the point where some people talk about the mass shootings they survived in the plural, mass shootings. And that's certainly the case with one student here at MSU who back in 2012 was attending the middle school that went on lockdown during the Sandy Hook shootings that ended up killing 28 people. That student is now speaking out, or Jacqueline Francis here in East Lansing with me has that part of the story. It's just hard to imagine at all, Jacqueline.
Devin, she said, you don't think it's going to happen the first time, and then it happens again. Jackie Matthews has grown up Sandy Hook strong, and now Spartan strong.
I am 21 years old, and this is the second mass shooting that I have now lived through. 10 years and 2 months ago, I survived the Sandy Hook shooting.
It's the TikTok video that's got the nation's attention. Jackie Matthews remembers it like it was yesterday.
Well, I was in 6th grade, so the intermediate school in Newtown, and basically every single public school and private school in Newtown and all the surrounding towns were put in a lockdown for many hours. And unfortunately, it's been 10 years now, and we're still experiencing the same thing. So
she's now a senior at Michigan State University, where she spent the night sheltering in place as gunshots rang out on campus.
I mean, it felt like a mirror image at an older age, and I just would never wish that on anybody.
All grown up, barricaded inside her house Monday night, She felt just as powerless.
It's nerve-wracking because you wish you could do something, but you can't.
Did you ever think you'd be in this situation again?
No, I mean, but you never. No one ever thinks it's going to happen to them until it does, and I think that's the scary part.
Just like last time, she knows it's a trauma she'll carry with her. And just like last time, she won't stop fighting for change.
But we can no longer just provide love and prayers. It needs to be legislation. It needs to be action. It's not okay. We can no longer allow this to happen.
Like so many of her classmates, Jackie says she'll likely go home this week. For her, that's Newtown, Connecticut. Spend time with.
Okay, so I just wanted to put that on a pause for a second. No, that's why I try to include things that you can do as an individual to change that direction, to change the course, things that can help you, strengthen you in your relationship with your kids, preparing them, unfortunately, for something that is possible, that's likely in this time that we're in right now. So I want to turn my attention a little bit to Mr. Anthony McCray as the mass shooter, because I'm always trying to hone in and focus in on the mindset of an actor. So I want to go to my last article. We had 3 articles. This is the last one. It's in the Detroit Free Press. It's called freep.com. The article is dated March 10th, 2023. The writers are David Jesse, Darcy Moran, and Dave Bouchard. And the title is Police Release Michigan State University Gunman's Note. Why do people hate me? Okay. Anthony McCray was tired of being rejected and described himself as a loner and outsider in a 2-page note he was carrying when he went on a shooting rampage at Michigan State University. Police released the note with portions redacted Friday morning. So I'm going to share my screen. Because I want to show you the note. So here's the note. This is the first page of the note. So you can see he has a drawing here. They kind of taken a lot of the information out, but it says, sorry for my handwriting. Why? I've been hurt. I've been hurt. I'm going to go back to the news article, but I'm just going through the note because I'm showing it to you. It says, hi, my name is Anthony McCray. There's a group of us, 20 of us, and I'm the leader. I will be shooting up MSU, and some of the other groups will be going to Colorado. I can't understand his writing. To shoot up blank on blank. They hurted me. Another team of my group will be going to New Jersey, and they will shoot up blank high school and blank middle school. They hurted me. He's underlining. They hurted me. Another team of my group will finish off the city of Lansing. Here's a list of our targets. And he gives them a list. Now let's go to the next page. He's saying they hurted me. They hate me. They hate me. They hate me. He made another face with appears to be tears. And this is like his list of grievances. And he's saying, I'm tired of being rejected, outcast, a loner. People hate me. They made me who I am today, a killer. No one noticed me. He says again, they hate me. They hate me without I'm not sure what that says. Everywhere I go, people treat me different. I don't want to be an American African. I'm a person. Why do people hate me? They never accepted me. 10 years since I don't know. They hate me. Why? Okay. I just wanted to share the letter, and I'm going to continue reading the article. I just wanted to let you see his handwriting. It almost looked like a young juvenile wrote that. Okay. So this is the note. Portions redacted, of course, because he was giving specific places that he said was going to be shot up. I am a person, he wrote. Why do people hate me? Please, everybody, listen to his mindset. Listen to what he feels people think about him. McCrae also claimed he was working with a group of shooters who would also target places in New Jersey and Colorado Springs. Police said they found no evidence of that. He also said there were other places in Lansing he was targeting. The names of those places were redacted in the photo of the note released by police. Police had previously confirmed one of the places was a Delta Township Meyer warehouse as well as a local church. Police said McCrae fatally shot 3 MSU students, 2 in Berkeley High at academic building and 1 at the student union. Now, from that video, we can see the 2 buildings were, if this was the Berkeley High building, then right across was the MSU Union, and that main road where the bus they said he took was right there. So he literally got right off the bus. He's not making a great effort. He's not breaking into a building. He's getting right off the bus line, that main street. That bus went, he got right off, and there's the Berkey Hall, the administration building, and then that Union building. They were right across from each other. He just went from one building to the next. So that's something to think about when you're thinking about security, safety for buildings, access, things like that. Should somebody have an MSU ID to go into a building, to go into spaces where students are? You know, it's something to consider. Okay, let's keep going. Killed in the attacks were Brian Frazier, 20 years old. He was from Grosse Pointe. Alexandria Werner, 20 years old, from Clawson. And Ariel Anderson, 19 years old, from Harper Woods. 5 of the students were critically wounded. 3 have been discharged from the hospital and 2 remain hospitalized, according to the latest update from Sparrow Hospital. McCrae was found by police several miles away from the MSU campus. He had 2 guns, multiple magazines of ammunition, and a 2-page note on him. So when he left the campus, I don't know if he got on another bus. I believe he did get on another bus to go from East Lansing to Lansing, Michigan. He could have harmed people on the bus, on the route. When he got off the bus, he could have went to another location and did another mass shooting. He had a lot of ammunition on him. So Thankfully, he did not do any more harm. When police started to interact with him, McCrae shot himself. Because a lot of them, they don't want to be held accountable. They don't want to be held responsible. A review of body cameras worn by police show McCrae did not speak before shooting himself. Police said in the days following the shooting. At the top of the note, McCrae apologizes for his handwriting. You know what else I saw in the note that I didn't say? He had wrote that his father was not involved, and I think that was underlined a couple of times. So he's taking responsibility, saying my father was not involved in this planning and execution of the shooting. It is dated Sunday, February 12, 2023, one day before the shooting, which took place just after 8:15 p.m. Monday, February 13th, while night classes were being held on campus. You know, I can only imagine if this was daytime hours, it would have been horrific. There are 4 faces drawn on the note, each with little dots representing tears coming off the face. One is under the word why, repeated 3 times with an answer, I've been hurt. Another one is next to the phrase, they hate me, written 3 times. The third face is next to a list of possible reasons for his actions, while the fourth is at the end of a sentence that says, they hate me. Why? Clearly, Mr. McCrae felt an internal, strong feeling that people did not like him, that he struggled. He felt alone, lonely. He said he was a loner. He probably didn't have many friends. Who does this sound like I am describing? Ethan Crumbley, right? Feeling alone, feeling lonely, a loner, not having many friends. Watching the mass shooting videos, picking a target, planning, preparation. Very similar mindset, right? It says on the second page of the note, McCrae says that they made me who I am today, a killer, but doesn't specify to whom they refers. He claims that people treat him differently everywhere I go, and nobody noticed him. He also says, I don't want to be an American African, and also uses profanity to describe unnamed people he decries as racist. He also wrote 10 years since I had intercourse. In the middle of the note, underlined for emphasis, McCrae absolves his family. My father has nothing to do with this, he wrote. After the shooting, McCrae's family said he had a hard time after his mother's death in 2020. What do we know about Mr. Ethan Crumbley? Didn't he have a hard time after his grandmother's death? The dog, also his dog passed away. He started having a hard time, right? Can we see the similarities when we look at both Ethan Crumbley and Mr. Anthony McCrae? Same mindset, right? Same experience, same difficulty. Feeling like an outcast, right? Okay, let's keep going. It says he got a little bitter and was acting differently, said his father, Michael McCrae. He said he tried to encourage his son to get a job, hang out with him, get out the room, and get some air. He said he had asked his son whether he needed help, but he would say he didn't need any. Remember what Ethan Crumley parents, Jennifer and James Crumley, said? They said their son was a perfect son, that there was nothing wrong, that they didn't see any issues with him. That yes, he did lose his friend of many years, but that he was okay, that he was saying that he was doing all right and that he was going to go on, that he would meet new friends. But that wasn't the case, right? We know that. I have a video that I'm going to share that's going to go over a little bit more about Mr. Anthony McCray. So let's check this out.
Oh my God. Chaos as Michigan State students run for their lives.
You want to get something in front of the door?
A mass shooter is stalking the campus. An emergency social media blast tell thousands of students to run, hide, fight. The drama began at 8:35 p.m. at Berkey Hall, where students were attending evening classes.
Have an active shooter at Berkey Hall and MSU's campus.
As police flooded the ground, surveillance cameras caught the gunman striding toward his next target, the Students' Union, less than a half a mile away.
Sounds like the shooter is currently in the Union building.
He was stalking the campus in a baseball cap, mask, denim shirt, and those distinctive red sneakers. This surveillance photo shows him in a stairwell drawing his gun.
We all were like, yeah, we're not willing to die here, so we need to find a place that's going to make us feel safe.
You can see graduate student Graham Diedrich and others barricading themselves inside the library. How do you know what to do in that situation?
As Americans, we're taught in our schools to barricade ourselves in, we're taught from a young age, at school there's a possibility that someone's going to come here and kill you. Just moving those tables and those shelves into those locations, it was just kind of second nature, something just clicked.
This Michigan State student, Shannon Watts, was wounded in the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting 10 years ago in Connecticut.
The fact that this is the second mass shooting that I have now lived through is incomprehensible.
The search went on for 3 hours. Police distributed this photo showing the wanted man.
It was a caller's tip that led law enforcement to that suspect.
Finally, at 11:35, when police cornered him in Lansing, he shot himself. He was identified today as 43-year-old Anthony Dwayne McCray. Police confirmed a note was found on his body. We're also learning about the 3 students who were killed. 19-year-old Ariel Diamond Anderson. She had her own YouTube channel. The sophomore is beloved for her compassion and love of children. She dreamed of becoming a pediatrician. 20-year-old Alexandria Verner was a biology and anthropology major. Alex was a standout basketball player in high school, number 24. She is remembered as a terrific student and leader who personified kindness. 20-year-old Brian Frazier was a sophomore studying business. He played lacrosse and worked as a lifeguard. His family described him as the light of their lives.
I'm gonna last sleep last night, sorry.
Dr. Denny Martin, who worked with the trauma team on wounded victims, was overcome with emotion at a press conference. And Michigan Congresswoman Elisa Slotkin expressed fury.
And I am filled with rage that we have to have another press conference to talk about our children being killed in their schools.
Oh my God.
Okay, so I wanted to share that video. Man, it's hard to see those kids' faces. I have to be honest with you. It almost brings me to tears. Thank you. It almost brings me to tears. Excuse me. It's really hard to just see their faces. It really brings life to them when you see those pictures and the videos. And the biggest take that I take away from continuing to do research about these mass shootings, about the shooters, I want to find ways that we ourselves can take the power back, that we can affect the change that we need to eliminate this as even a point where someone has to release all of this anger that they hold on others. Um, I'm going to get to the last video. This video is going to discuss more about the note and the timeline of the shooting. This is the last video I'm going to share, and I know it's a lot of videos tonight. So thank you for sticking it out with me this long. I really appreciate that. It's the last video. I really like that Inside Edition video because it really humanized the victims and, let us see parts of them because these are real people. These people have families. It's just sad. This video is from Click on Detroit WDIV.
Clearer picture of how things unfolded at Michigan State University the night 3 students were shot and killed and 5 others hurt.
University released a detailed timeline of the shooting at Berkey Hall and the MSU Union. Video shows the shooter leaving the Union, and about a minute later, officers arrive.
He was found about 3.5 hours later, and in that time, more than 1,400 calls were made to 911.
This was the chilling note found in the shooter's pocket, revealing more about his mindset. Mara McDonald, live to take us through it. Mara?
Devin, I'll tell you what, it is disconcerting to see the new video we got from MSU police of that shooter inside the MSU Union, walking around just completely calm. Take a look. Surveillance cameras at the MSU Union captured the shooter as he enters and appears to check his gun as he purposefully and calmly walks into the building. The blur you see is him continuing to walk around. And this is after he's already fired at Berkey Hall. MSU police in the Union and looking for what at the time was an unknown shooter and just seconds away from getting him. Police also releasing what can only be described as random, juvenile in nature scribbles, complete with childish drawings. In it, 43-year-old Anthony McCray lists his grievances, claiming he's part of a group of 20 and he's their leader. Flat out saying he's going to shoot up MSU, at the same time saying, sorry for my handwriting. His grievances listed under, they hurted me, saying I'm tired of being neglected, outcast, loner, they hate me. He hasn't had sex in 10 years. And they, whoever they is, made me who I am today, a killer. He also underlines, my father had nothing to do with this. Back here alive, interesting that last line there because MSP's bomb squad was out the night of the shooting at his father's home where he lived. They were concerned that he booby-trapped the house. He had not, and when police talked to his father said his son was a loner, had no friends, and rarely left his room. We're live downtown tonight. I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
All right, Mara.
I can only shake my head. From what I'm seeing, it's really a pattern. It's a mindset. I can kind of see it in the letter. When I look at his note, especially page 2, all of his feelings he doesn't feel accepted. He feels that people hate him. He says he doesn't want to be an African American. He says everywhere he goes, he's treated differently. He says that no one noticed him, that he's a loner, an outcast, he's been rejected, even having problems in relationships, right? And I could see over and over again the words, they hate me. You know, it's really something that we cannot overlook. I think more people are hurting than what's being recognized. I think that we have to be intentional in our interactions on a daily basis, trying to be sensitive, but also showing love. We have to be very careful how we're treating one another, treating each other with respect, with humility, with kindness. We can't change what's happened, but we can change how we respond, what we do in the future, and definitely how we handle each other. A lot of people are struggling, and it's really like any time before where you have so many people with issues. I think we need to recognize that there's a lot of mental instability. People are not well, whether it be suffering a loss, a death of a relationship, a ending of a marriage, a death of a loved one, a family member, or just feelings of loneliness, emptiness, despair, sadness. We have a lot of challenges today. And when I say we, I'm referring to the spectrum of ages, young and old. It's a lot of depression out here. And you have to fight. You have to stand in being happy within, not looking for someone else to make you happy, but standing in, I'm going to make myself happy. I'm going to put a smile. I'm going to get up every day with the vigor of life. It's a mindset. Just like this person, Mr. McCray, just like Mr. Crumbly, Ethan Crumbly, that was a mindset. They're exhibiting behaviors from their thoughts. They've taken time, they've investigated, they researched, they planned these mass shootings out. This is effort being placed behind actions that they're foretelling. He sits down and he writes this letter, this note, all of his grievances, everything that hurt him, that bothered him, his feelings of being hated. He writes, why? He writes over and over and over and over again. They hate me. They hurted me. People don't know how to manage their feelings. These thoughts, these troublesome thoughts, these thoughts in their mind, they're not able to handle all of that. And it's coming out in a negative way. I'm going to use the words of Bouchard and the idea of what he was saying, that just like we can have a person that expresses that they're hurt, they're lonely, they're in despair, we also have a coming together of a community for the purpose of rebuilding, healing. Is there a way to reach people like Mr. Anthony McCray, Mr. Ethan Crumbly before a mass shooting? What resources are in place? I know some schools have resource officers, they have counselors, therapists. We need more of that. We need some mental health counseling put in the forefront. We need more people to go into this area because we're surviving on life support. We're not seeing changes in gun laws. We haven't experienced any significant changes in how guns are readily available. If this person, Mr. McCray, had access to a gun, Mr. Ethan Crumbley, he was given a gun as a gift as a minor, as a 15-year-old. So we know that the guns are out there, right? The access is there. If Mr. McCray was having all of these mental health issues, he still was able to obtain a gun, having all of these bullets, all of this ammunition to take the lives of others. On contrast, Ethan Crumbley, he was given a gun as a minor, allegedly by his parents with the bullets, and he carried that same gun to school. It hurt a lot of people, devastating lives, leaving just a carnage of death and misery and despair. So we have to make changes. We have to not just wait on the laws to change, but we also have to take what we have within our control and power and do something about it. So this is why I'm here. I'm sharing this information with you. I'm trying to share what I feel can be tools that can lead to a different outcome. Jennifer Crumbley was asked at her trial, would you do anything different, knowing all of the things that happened, the result of this mass shooting? Would you do something different? And she said no. Well, I say yes. And it starts with you. It starts with me. It starts with each person taking responsibility, being accountable to create the changes that we need. So we can't wait for the gun laws. They may not change because guns don't kill people. People kill people. And from everything that I've seen, these are people that feel rejected. They feel alone. They're lonely. They're sad. They're possibly depressed. They don't have an outlet. As Mr. McCray's father said, he stayed in the room. Ethan Crumbley, he spent a lot of time by himself. They're both online. They're researching these mass shootings. They're planning these mass shootings. They've gained access to a gun. And now they've hurt, injured, and killed innocent people because of their perceived hurt. It's important to have self-love, but it's also important for other people to show love. That's something that we can do. We can show care, we can show concern, we can show love to each other. It starts there first. And then we need to bring in resources that can help the community with this mental health crisis. I am not an expert. But going through these mass shootings, going and doing these deep dives, looking into these cases, we have serious problems. We have some serious problems in the United States. Okay, my next video that I'm coming with, it will be James and Jennifer Crumbley's, their sentencing, and also hearing from the victim impact statements, the victims' families. I'm going to listen and show about 2 or 3. And as again, I've said, now the victims' families, they're turning their attention to the actions and inactions of the school staff administrators. So that's what they're using their time to talk about now. Things that could have been done differently. So I will soon be back discussing the Idaho 4. I don't even want to get into it. As we know, Brian Koberger has updated his alibi with more information. They're talking all about the jury survey. what went wrong, what went right, all of that with the experts. So it's so much to talk about with the Idaho 4. I want to wrap up the James, Jennifer, Ethan Crumbley saga, cases, convictions, sentencing, and then I'm going to turn my attention back to the Idaho 4. Also, I know there's been some stuff going on with, of course, Sean Combs, his son. I'm not going to cover his son's case. I'm going to leave children. And he's not a child, he is an adult, but I'm going to leave them off limits. I'm just going to focus on Sean Combs. There was a little bit of movement in one of his cases. One of the co-defendants was trying to be removed from the case. They're saying, hey, we really didn't have anything to do with these allegations. Can we be removed? I'm probably not going to cover it because it's just such a small action, but they're saying, hey, you haven't alleged these things against us as a co-defendant, so we want to be removed from the case. I'm probably not going to cover it because I have so much to deal with the Idaho 4. I have 2 more videos to do. The video about why the police misled us, and then the video summing it all up, which is why I think possibly a law enforcement officer could have been the killers. And then I am eventually going to lightly discuss what's going on with Brian Kohlberger, his updated alibi, which is now he's saying, basically saying through his expert, they will be able to detail, demonstrate, and show that he was not near the 1122 King Road house at the time of the killings. They'll be able to demonstrate that through, I guess, his cell phone data, etc. So we will see. And then, what's up with the jury instructions? Is there going to be a possible change of venue to get them out of Moscow, Idaho to a different area because this jury will possibly be tainted with all of the media coverage, so forth. And I also know that some of the victims, their families, particularly Kaylee's mom and dad, they did an interview, a sit-down interview, and expressed some things. So it's just been a lot going on with Brian Kohlberger. So that's coming up. I'm going to get back on the Idaho 4 case, okay? So thank you for spending this time with me. There will be at least one more video will be on James and Jennifer Crumbley's sentencing. They've already been sentenced. They both received 10 to 15 years. I'm just going to go over that a little bit and highlight a few of the victim impact statements from the families and kind of close it out. I know the case is not really going away. I'm sure they're all going to probably file an appeal, try to get something different done in their case and their sentencing. So I don't know, but I do want to do that video, and then I'm going to move and turn my attention back to the Idaho 4. But again, I'm going to have to squeeze it in because I'm extremely busy right now. May is like, it's going to be wild. I have so much going on in May, and then June and things like that, and the summer and stuff. But I'm working on my schedule. I promise you, I'm trying to pass on some of these commitments and responsibilities and just get some more support. So please be patient with me. I try to be thorough. I try to be detailed. I try to give you useful information. So I'm not just sitting on here for 10 minutes and telling you nothing, okay? I'm trying to share some educational resources too, okay? So thank you for spending this time with me. I really, really, really appreciate it. Continue to be well, stay smart, stay safe, stay savvy. People, please be careful. Please be careful out here as this weather is changing. People are going to be out more. Be careful about going out late at night. Just use good judgment, okay? Keep yourself safe, okay? Thank you again. Have a beautiful, wonderful evening, beautiful week, okay? And I will see you soon. Be well. Take care, everybody. Bye. Good night.